Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Sonia, and in today's video I'm sharing with you some of the great ways that you can dupe a furniture and a lamp and a fireplace. These are inspirations that I have gotten from high-end stores like Pottery Barn, Kirkland's, Pier 1, and went out thrifting and found pieces. I even found pieces around my house that I can make over and give them that high-end look on a lot less of a budget. So I hope you guys enjoyed this marathon video or compilation video. If you do, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I am upcycling this beautiful piece that I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace. I got it for $50. There are a few things that need to be fixed up, like the top is a little bit loose, and then one of the drawers is a little bit, one of the doors is a little bit loose, so it just needs to be tightened and the top needs to be glued. But let me show you some of the supplies that I will be using for upcycling. So I will be painting the whole piece with Annie Sloan in Athenian black, which is a real black color, and I'm going to put a clear gloss lacquer on it, which is also by Annie Sloan. For the hardware, I will be trying the gilding wax from Annie Sloan. I have never used this before, so it will be a learn with me type of video and see how it, like I watched tutorials and I've talked to the lady that sold me this, and it should be fairly easy. It is the last thing that you do put on, whether it's on furniture or anything, but it is the very last thing you put on. And then some of the other items that I'll need is my favorite chalk paint brush, and then just a foam brush for the lacquer, some sanding block, some rags for cleanup, and then some screwdrivers for the hardware. You will also need some wood glue and a brush for the gilding wax. So let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the top that's loose, and I'm going to clean it first just on top and then glue it, so that way that can set while I work on the rest of the piece with cleaning and fixing it up. And because there's no visible spots on it for to clean off, I'm just using wet rag, and I just wetted it with water. I would also like to mention that this video is part of a open collaboration that I am co-hosting with Julia from the Mug Life DIY, and there will be a playlist in my description box that you can head on over after you are finished watching my video and check out everybody else that is participating in this collaboration. I will also have Julia's channel linked down below, so you can go ahead and check her out as well. I want this area to be completely dry before I put the wood glue on. So I'm just using some clamps to clamp it up or over there, just so it holds it in place.
And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Dreamy, breezy, we go.
So I am using a sander just to sand a couple areas down. You don't have to do this. I always like to do it just in case if there's stuff that needs to be, you need to smooth out, or any sticky stuff that I might have missed from the from just wiping it down.
We lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond.
Once you're finished sanding, you want to wipe all the dust residue off so there is nothing left. So I think I'm ready to take the hardware off and start painting the drawers and the sides, but the top still needs a little bit more time to cure.
Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond road.
So it seems that the screws are stripped on the inside, so I don't think I'm going to be able to remove those. So I might just paint over them and then just go very carefully with the gilding wax to finish them up. So just to show you what the paint looks like. So I did the first coat. I'm going to let this dry completely. The top is still not ready, so I'm going to let that cure some more. And while that's drying, because I'm going to be using the paintbrush again, I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. And put a little elastic around it. That way it's not going to dry out on me, but I don't have to wash it and then use a different brush because it would be too wet. But just a little trick and tip. So while I was waiting for the piece to dry, I was kind of looking at the top of it, and I'm kind of liking the wood look, but this is very damaged. As you can see, it has tons of damage on it. So I'm going to give it a little bit more sanding. Still using a hand sander, and then I'm gonna apply this Old Masters gel stain in Spanish oak, and this is supposed to be able to go over top of the existing stain already, so you don't actually have to strip it and then apply the stain. But because this has so many scratches, I just want to buff those out with the sander. So that is what I'm gonna do now. And you want to go in the direction of the wood grain. So while that's drying, I'm going to give a second light coat to the bottom part. There's just a couple areas that need some retouching. So now I'm going to start staining the top, and I'm using a rag to do so. And again, in the direction of the stain. So I'm going to let that dry. So now that the piece had some time to dry, I'm going to apply the clear gloss, the lacquer, on the chalk painted area. And I'm using a sponge brush to do so. So for the gilding wax, I am doing the little, well, I'm gonna do more stuff, but I just wanted to show you with the little knobs. And here is the wax. And I'm just going to squirt a little bit on the paper, just a little touch. And I'm just using a tough bristle brush to pick up some on, and then I'm just going to brush it on. And there. So just to kind of show you the difference.
Give me a reason to get out of bed. I need a minute to think, or maybe two. 'Cause yesterday I lost control.
Okay. Now I'm gonna move on to the furniture. While it's still drying, I'm gonna work on the knobs.
It's gonna be okay, no matter come what may. I'm gonna set things straight. Tomorrow, I let my worries fade, let them sweep away. There'll be another day tomorrow.
Just to show you a little close-up, I think that looks really, really nice.
I did them all before, in every shape. There's a million ways to mess things up, and I need some time to figure out what to say and make our troubles figure out what to say and make our troubles disappear. Oh, tomorrow's near. It's gonna be okay, no matter come what may. I'm gonna set things straight tomorrow. Let all our worry.
So I'm gonna go a little closer just so you can see. I'm going into little crevices just to accent them out.
Drop it, please.
So then I got a flatter brush.
Tomorrow I will set things straight. Tomorrow's gonna.
So I want to add a little bit onto that little circle right there, just to accent it out.
Worries fade, let them sweep away. There'll be another day tomorrow. It's gonna be okay, no matter come what. straight. Tomorrow, let all the worries fade, let them sweep.
Add a sealer for the top. So for the top coat, I'm going to use the General Finishes water-based top coat. No particular reason other than I had it on hand.
Tomorrow,
so here it is all finished, and let me tell you, I am absolutely in love with this piece and the way it turned out. I'm pleased that I left the top with the stain and the gilding wax. I just love it, and I was extremely impressed how easy it was to use the gilding wax. I was a little bit scared to use it. It was my first time, but I love the way it turned out. So make sure you check out Julia's channels as well as the playlist, which is linked down below. And let me know what you think, if you enjoyed this type of a transformation, and if you have learned anything from it. And also let me know if you like these type of videos down in the comments. I would love to know. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you all in my next video. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia, for those of you stopping by for the very first time. Today I will be transforming or upcycling or restoring, not necessarily restoring, but upcycling this pedestal table. I had picked it up at a local Value Village for $8, which I thought was a great deal. It is very heavy, solid wood piece, but I really don't like the orangish brown color that it's on, that it is now. So I will be painting it with chalk paint, and I will be using French linen chalk paint. And then, let's see if this is better. So French linen chalk paint, which I will paint the whole piece with, and then I will accent just a couple things with dark wax, and then I'm going to clear wax it. And the brush that I'm using, I can no longer find to link down below, so I have brushes that I've linked in my Amazon store that are good, just as good as this one. So make sure you go, if you're interested, check out my Amazon store under chalk painting supplies, and I will have the Annie Sloan chalk paint linked in a separate link. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, because there is no sanding required, and I checked the piece, it doesn't have any obvious things that need to be smoothed out. I will just give it a good cleaning, but depending on how that sticker right there is, I might sand that down, but I'm hoping that a damp cloth will clean it up. So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure your piece is clean of anything on it. If you have to, you might want to give it just a light sanding if there's sticky stuff on it to take it off. But other than that, you're good to start painting. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clean it first, and then I'm gonna start painting. And I will most likely be applying 2 coats. So let me give you a little bit of a close-up. This will need about 2 to 3 hours to dry before I apply a second coat. So this had now 2 good coats on, and I'm going to let this dry for another about 2 hours, and then I'm going to move on to waxing. So I'm going to start using the wax now, and I'm just using the dark NA Sloan wax, and I'm going to put it in just into these little crevices and the little designs, and as well at the bottom here, just to accent those a little bit more. So at this point I have decided that I was going to actually dark wax the whole leg, not just the accents, because I love the way it was turning out. So I just continued throughout the whole leg. I absolutely love the way the legs and the bottom turned out of the table, and I was contemplating whether I should do the same for the top, and actually did decide to wax the top as well. So I have decided to stain the top as well, as you saw, and I absolutely love the way this turned out. I will be adding the clear wax once this dark wax had time to cure a little bit, just maybe hour or so. And then I'm gonna let the clear wax cure for a couple days, and then I'll just buff it out. So if you would like to see how I apply clear wax, I will have all of my videos linked down below. You can check it out so I don't repeat myself. But clear wax is important to apply because it is a protective layer. So it's like almost like sealer, and I use it on all my furniture that I redo, and it does make the furniture last and protects it for a lot longer. I can't stop looking at my dog. He's making me laugh, so it's hard to concentrate when he's laying like that right there. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and let me know if these are the type of videos you enjoy watching, because I will have a couple more coming your way. So if you're new, make sure you subscribe and have your notification bell on so you don't miss out any of my upcoming uploads. So until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I am sharing another furniture makeover video. We are going to be doing a coffee table makeover today, and this is a coffee table that you guys loved so much. The video is still one of the most watched videos from the last time I made it over. I do still love the way this coffee table looks. I like the gray and white, but it was no longer working with the new renovations in the house. The colors were not working, so I wanted to give it a new life because I do love the style of the coffee table. Because this was all chalk painted, I went and sanded it completely down. This was fairly easy to do. The chalk paint did sand off very easy. I think it was easier than when I had to remove the stains. So I just started off with a 60 grit sandpaper, and then finished it off with a 220, I think it was, and just got most of the chalk paint off. The top, I did all of it. Around the legs, as you can see, there was a little bit left over. I took a leap of faith that the stain was gonna look good, and you wait till the end to see how it looks. I think it turned out fabulous. So I had moved up from the grass onto the patio. I had covered it. It's time to add my first stain. So here is what I'm using. It is Special Walnut by Vanity wood stain, and then I'm going to follow by white wax, so kind of give it a liming effect, and then follow it up with the dark wax. You also want some gloves and some rags. I did keep the furniture outside overnight. I kind of took a leap of faith that it's not going to get pooped on or peed on by someone who likes to pee on all of my furniture outside. And I knew it wasn't going to rain. At least that's what the Weather Network said. So I just left it outside. It's nice and dry. Like I mentioned before, added some mineral spirits to it to condition it and clean it up a little bit. You can also use wood conditioner if you want. I didn't have one on hand, and I typically don't use one. Maybe I should start, but I usually use a combination of Vanity and mineral spirit mixture and use that. So that is what I did. First I cleaned it with mineral spirits, and then I added that. So it's ready. I'm curious to see how well the stain's gonna look on the parts that I did not get off as good as I should have probably. I do love the look, the rustic look that this has, but I'm not sure how the stain's gonna look, so we'll give it a try. I'm gonna try it on a drawer first. So we're gonna get started. I'm going to be applying my stain with a rag, kind of moving in the direction of the wood grain. I did just one coat of brushing the stain on because I'm going to be doing other things. It only needed the one coat. I was quite happy with the way it looked on a drawer, so I decided to proceed with the table, doing exactly the same thing, moving with the wood grain, make sure there's no dust on it from sanding, and I just brushed it off because I did leave it outside, so I just wanted to make sure there was nothing on it. I love this dark walnut stain. I think it makes it look really natural, which was the look that I was going for.
Thought in the wildest dream I'd see you again. Never dreamed about nothing else other than you. I always thought I'd be waiting in vain, but suddenly there you were. Never thought it'd be easy.
The bottom of the table here is just I think it's just pressboard. It's not really wood or anything like that, so it was more coloring it than actually staining it.
To feel you in my arms, but now we're here and I'm all in, and I wanna buy you, 'cause I can stay till the morning, or stay till the dawn, but just hold me now. I wanna be so much better whenever you're around. I wanna say.
So as you can see, the stain wasn't actually going really staining the parts that still had a little bit of paint, which I knew it wasn't going to, but it did color it a little bit. It wasn't white anymore, and I liked the way that made it look. I think it just gave it a really rustic look. Then once the stain was completely dry, which did not take awfully long time, I went ahead and applied white wax. This is almost giving it a liming effect. You could also use liming wax if you don't have white wax. I think the look would be the same. So I went ahead, moving in the direction of the wood grain. I applied it with the brush, and then I took it off with the rag. And I did the whole piece the same way, the whole everywhere.
Something clever to get in your mind, 'cause right now we're not together, and I lose my way then.
So once it had time to dry a little bit, I went ahead with antiquing wax or dark wax by any Sloan. You can use any antiquing wax, and applied it the exact same way as the liming wax or the white wax.
Whenever you're around, whenever you're around.
If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonia, and I would love it if you considered subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell, and also give this video a like if you are enjoying it. And if you have a friend that you think might enjoy this video, I would love it if you all shared it with your friends.
Is it too late to feel you? Is it too late to tell you about how much I'm sorry for the things I have done, for the things I never did? But I promise, dear, I'll never let you go.
Once I was finished with the wax and it had a little bit of time to dry, I went ahead and applied some chalk paint lacquer. You can also use wax at this time. I just find this is a little bit easier to use than wax, and I just poured it on and then used a sponge roller to roll the lacquer on. You can also use really any sealer that you have. I have used General Finishes water-based sealer as well, and it works just the same. This will protect the table. You probably want to do more than one coat for sure. I did 3 of these just because my coffee table does get used quite a bit, so I wanted to make sure the top, especially the top, was sealed well.
So don't let go, get close to me. Oh, don't let go, get close to me. My body's waiting for you. I know your body's been waiting too. I wanna be so much better whenever you're around. I wanna say something clever to get in your mind. 'Cause right now we're not together, and I lose my way then. Oh, I feel so much better whenever you're around, whenever you're around. Yeah, yeah, whenever you're around, whenever you're around.
So here it is, all sealed, and I did give it 2 days before I actually brought it back into the family room to be decorated or used. And here is how it looks. I am getting new couches as well, which are more of a sand color, and I think this is just going to tie everything together. Let me know what you think. My husband's not sold on this coffee table. I absolutely love the way it looks, but if you watch my other video, let me know which style of a makeover you liked better. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hello my friends, and welcome to another furniture makeover video. Today we are going to be working on my dining room table. So naturally I called it Trash to Treasure because instead of getting rid of the table and buying a new one, I will give it a facelift so it goes more with my new style. So I just showed you what it looked like. It had some wear and tear already on the top. I have refinished this table many years ago, way before YouTube time, and it had held up quite well, but some of the top was wearing out already, and also the color wasn't quite what I wanted right for my new style. It was more pulling on red, and I wanted it more into the neutral look. So anyways, even though red oak is a new natural look, but I was kind of going for more lighter look. So I'm going to start off with just sanding the table. I'm not going to strip it. I'm just going to use a 60 grit sanding paper for my rotary sander and just sand the whole thing down, but I will leave some of the darker lines, especially in the wood grain, on because I want that to stay. So it's not going to be a perfect sanding, but I will take most of the stain off. I hope that makes sense. And of course, when you're working outside, there are many distractions coming your way.
Not long ago, you got hurt, someone did you wrong. I can see it in your eyes, it's like your fire is gone.
And because of all the distractions, I did not realize my camera had turned off, and I did put one coat of stain on it already. So the stain that I am using is, I'm doing half and half, equal parts of weathered oak as well as early American. And I am adding equal amounts into a bowl and using a rag. I am staining it by going with the wood grain. So I am applying the stain with the rag and then letting it sit for a couple minutes, and then I am wiping it off. And I repeated this process all together about 3 times.
Across your face, it is written across your face. If you wanna talk, I'm right here, not gonna leave your side. Just feel free to open up when the moment's right. Across your face, it is written.
So I left this to dry completely overnight, and now looking at it, I'm back in the garage now. Looking at it, I am not overly happy with the way it looks. So I decided to do 1 coat of weathered oak only, doing the same way as the other one. And here it is, and now I'm definitely not happy with it at all, because now I feel it's pulling completely into orange. So I went inside and I got my special walnut, because it is more of a gray in it, and added that. And I still wasn't overly happy with that look, so I went ahead and once it was dry, took out my white antiquing wax to use it as a like a whitewash glaze kind of thing, and I'm applying it with a brush and then just wiping it off and letting it kind of sit into the wood grains. This did definitely lighten the color, but it still didn't quite give me the look that I was going for. So then I proceeded in applying the black wax, not antiquing wax, which is more of a brown, but a black wax, just to tone down some of the orange redness that was kind of coming through. And I was applying it the same way as I was the white wax. I just applied it with a brush and then wiped it off, almost like rubbed it in a little bit. So I just wanted to show you here the left side has the waxes on and the right side it doesn't. So it did tone it down, in my opinion, quite a bit. I know the sun's really strong and it's making it look even more orange, but here it is. I think now it is ready for the top coat. And for my top coat, I am using General Finishes water-based top coat. It is the same top coat I used on my stairs, and pretty much anytime I'm refinishing furniture, I use this top coat, and I'm applying it with a foam brush. And I do this 3 times. You minimum want it 3 times. And I am sanding it in between. I am just using a 300, I think it's grit sandpaper, and just sanding it lightly in between the coats. This will prevent it from looking, I think they said it prevents it from looking overly shiny. So I'm just doing it just because that's what the instructions say I'm doing it. I don't actually see any difference. Now, since I was refinishing the table as well, I have decided to refinish my chairs. I have actually done the chairs before I did the table, just because it was a little bit of a less work than doing the whole table. So as you can see, I did paint these chairs a while back when I refinished the table the first time with Annie Sloan Duck Egg Blue. Now this is, I'm going to tell you, one of my least favorite furniture makeovers is to painting chairs. I absolutely hate painting chairs. So I went and I borrowed the spray gun from my friend, which I struggled with last time I used, and I must say, a love-hate relationship with this spray gun. But I think after using it here, I had figured it out, and now I know what I was doing wrong. Definitely tilting that spray gun doesn't work, and you just have to hold it straight. But like I said, that wasn't the problem with the spray gun when I was using it before. It just kept spitting the paint out instead of spraying it. So, but anyways, I didn't have so much trouble this time around. It did work pretty good for me. I did, however, go through a ton of paint, like 2 small containers of paint. I did end up using the Bear chalk paint in the color, I think it was black, but I'm not 100% sure that's what it's called. And I did go through 2 2 containers of it. Well, container and a half. I probably have about a half a container left, and I did water the paint down a little bit just because it was chalk paint and it is quite a bit thicker. So, but I did water it down a little bit, but I still ended up using quite a bit of paint. But it took me quarter of the time that it would have taken me to paint it with the brush. But before I went ahead and painted all of these chairs, I gave them a good cleaning because they've been used by us as well as the home daycare. I'm sure I didn't get all the nooks and crannies cleaned out when I cleaned it last time, so I actually took a bucket of water, put some soap in it, and I am using a Norwex rag that has a little bit of roughness in it to actually get all the stuck on stuff off wherever it needs to be cleaned off. So once everything was clean and dry, I took my spray gun and I started spraying. And I'm going to admit it, when the spray gun works well, it is so satisfying to paint things because you just go, 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 and things get covered so quickly and evenly. If there happened to be a blob or unevenness in the paint, I just took a foam roller and just kind of rolled the paint around, just so that way there's no sitting paint, because the chairs do have a bit of a indentation on top. So if I went a little bit heavier with the paint, the paint kind of pooled in that indentation. So I just spread everything out with a roller brush. So here's the chair all nicely dried and ready to be sealed, and I am using the water-based, same sealer as the top of the table, to seal the whole chair. And I am, like I said, sanding in between with the block, and then just a very, very light sanding, and then I'm going to apply the sealer with the brush, the foam brush. And again, I'm doing 3 coats. So here it is all finished. My husband does say he can't see any difference with the top. I do want to disagree with that. I did show a little comparison. So this was before. It's a lot more reddish in my opinion, whereas this one pulls more into the blacks and grays. And I think with the blue chairs versus the black chairs, I do think it makes a huge difference, and I am very happy with the way this is turning out. It looks so much better inside than it did even in the garage. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads, and I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Today we'll be working on this desk vanity. I will be making it over. If you follow along, you know this one was in my master bedroom. I had gotten a new one, and this one needed some updates. It was looking a little rough around the edges. I had gotten this off of Facebook Marketplace and used it as my vanity, and there were a couple things on there that I needed to sand down. It was dirty, but it was like oily dirty from all the makeup and stuff like that. So I wanted to upcycle it again and maybe put it out for sale, since I already had another one in my room. So I had gotten this. It came with a dresser. I have the original makeover already on my channel. I will link it at the end for you to check it out, both the little dresser that it came with and this desk. And now you can see how I make it over again and maybe resell it. So I had removed all the hardware first, and then I'm going to give it a good wipe down, take off as much grease and things that I can. Some of it I could not, it was just on there. I think it was more stained than greasy. And then I took a little, just a hand block sander, and just sanded down that little, it looked like water damage, but it actually wasn't. I'm not quite sure. I think it was just scratches in the paint. So I took them off just so they don't show up when I paint over it. I will be painting this piece of furniture with Annie Sloan Athenian Black, which is their black paint. They also have a graphite, which is more kind of lighter black, but this one is a deep black. And I'm going to start off with the drawers, and then I'm going to move on to the piece of the rest of it. I would also like to mention that this video is part of a Philippine Friday challenge hosted by Jamie from Board or Bananas and Border Bananas DIY. I will have Jamie's channels linked down below, as well as the playlist, so make sure you head on over to that playlist and her channels to check them out. And the playlist will be full, will have tons of flippin' ideas, so make sure you check it out after you're done watching my video. So here is the piece after first coat. As you can see, I'm going to need to apply another coat on here. It was just, some of the white was just showing through, and I figured that is exactly what I was gonna need to do. And I also need to paint that piece. While the second coat was drying, because I didn't want to bore you with me painting it with the second coat, I ended up adding some gold gilding wax, which is Annie Sloan as well, onto all the hardware. And I'm also going to be adding it to those little accent pieces that were removed from the drawers. But before you do that, since the gilding wax has to be the last thing you apply to your furniture, I am just adding a clear coat, clear lacquer coat. This is to protect the paint and the piece on it. And then once that had a little bit of time to dry, you want it to dry completely, I proceeded with adding the wax onto the edges where you can see that there is wax, there is the gold already. This one was a lot more gold that I was adding than the dull gold that was already on there. So while the clear coat was drying on there, I started adding clear coat to all the drawers. The body of the furniture wasn't quite dry yet, so I wanted to get things done that I could. So while the drawers were drying, I added the wax to the side of this, and I wanted to get in here as close as possible to show you how this looks. I think it almost gave it a new life. I liked this gold a little bit better than the gold that was already on there. Now I just have the top of the furniture left to add the protective coat. I already did the body of it. And then once that was completely dried, I did wipe some of it off from the gold edge that was on there. And then once it was almost dried, I went ahead and added the gilding wax to the sides of where the gold is showing. Just the same idea as the other one, just to kind of give it some more life. The last part before I put the piece back together was to do the legs and this little accent piece that was at the bottom of this desk, and I really liked to accentuate this little decor piece here, and so by adding the gold, it really made it pop out. And then I also did the two legs here, and then I also did just a little part on the bottom of the other two legs, but I did videotape it. It's just with the angle, it did not really show very well. And then I put the whole piece back together, and I am so pleased with the way this piece turned out. This was not a very solid piece of furniture. It was more of the cheaper kind of furniture, but I think with this upgrade, the paint and the gilding wax really elevated the piece and made it look very high end. I would love to know what you think about this piece. Do you like it? I did end up applying another coat of the lacquer on top, trying not to hit the golden edges, and just for extra protection. So I would love to know what you think about the makeover. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you enjoy these type of videos. It seems to be the type of videos that get watched the most on my channel. So I would love to know if you enjoyed this one as well. And don't forget to check out Jamie's channel as well as the playlist, which will be linked down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not. Love to have you be part of my DIY community. And until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day. And thank you all so much for stopping by and watching this video. Bye.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you another upcycling video. I am upcycling this mantle, or giving it a makeover. I have done this mantle way before YouTube days. It was a bright orange wood originally, and I had chalk painted with 3 different colors and loved it for many years. However, now with the whole new setup, sorry, it's real life here, but with the whole new setup, it's just not working for me anymore. So I have decided to give it a bit of a new makeover. I am going to be using one paint for this, and I'm going with the Benjamin Moore Aura Interior in Matte. This is in black. It's just called black. And this is the paint that I had painted my accent wall as well as my door. And then there's another door and the bathroom wall, shiplap wall. So there's a lot of that black going, and I thought this would look good here. I am doing something really fun for the mantle, so you want to make sure you watch this video thoroughly so you can see what I do for the mantle. I'm also going to be doing a little frame about like where the TV is. The TV is gonna go down, and I'm going to work on that back wall as well. So lots of changes coming to this space, but I think it's going to look really good. It's going to stand out and be almost like a focal point, which is what I want. So we are going to get started. I'm going to prep the mantle first, and that's what I'm going to work on, just getting the mantle painted first. And then we're going to move on other things.
First thing that I did is I covered my work area. I prepped it by taping it, using some garbage bags as a tarp and taping them to the floor so that way they don't move and I don't slip while working on the surface. And then also I cleaned the fireplace. I am also going to remove the face of the fireplace so that way I can paint behind it. That way I don't run into a chance of not covering everything, the whole back. Everything was prepped. I actually just saw this little trick, and I'm just baffled that I haven't thought of this myself. Is I took some aluminum foil and I just covered the tray because I was going to use this tray for several days. I didn't want to have to wash it every single time or run into a chance of it drying out. This way, once you are done painting it, you just remove the tin foil and you have a clean tray underneath it. For painting the fireplace, I'm going to use a small foam roller as well as a small brush. I'm going to do all the big surfaces with the foam roller and then get into all the little crevices with the brush. This did not take very long at all, and I'm also not painting the top part of the fireplace. That part comes right off, and I'm going to be building a mantle top for that while I wait for my paint to dry. So like I said, this didn't take very long. It took about a coat and a half, but I should say probably 2 coats to cover this fireplace. This paint is phenomenal to work with. The coverage is really good. It goes on smoothly, and it's not for a matte paint. It's fairly easy to clean as well. And I just love the coverage that I get from this paint. So once I finish up the paint, I move on into the garage. So we went ahead to Home Depot and picked up some wood. So we picked up what were these? 1x8x6. And then we picked up the big piece of this thing. It's called the project panel, Shelving Furniture Project Crafts. It was the right width. So it was 16x72 is what we kind of needed. So we did end up cutting 6 inches off to fit. And now we are going to assemble the mantle. So we just wanted to make sure it fits. We removed the top part and slid this on it to see how it looks and whether it's a good size and if it sits nicely and if it fits before I went ahead and went outside to stain it. We first cut the wood to size, and then we used a nailer to nail it in place, and then used L brackets to secure it so the pieces would stay together. So the first thing that I'm doing here is I wanted to rough up the mantle. I wanted it to look like old barn board. So I am banging it up with some hammer and also using a screwdriver just to give it some scratches and really rough up the piece. And now I'm just going to use a wood filler just to fill in some gaps. When working with pine, it's never straight, so there is a little bit of a gap at one end, so I just wanted to fill that in just to have a bit of a more appearing of a solid piece. So while I wait for the wood filler to cure, which takes about 15 minutes, I'm going to test out which stain I want to stain this in. I'm going to mix several of them and then go from there. So here are some stain ideas. This is the Minwax Aged Oak in gel stain, which is the same one I use for my door. This one is the Early American in Minwax. The other one is Weathered Oak, and then this one is the Special Walnut by Birthday. And then this one is special walnut and aged oak mixed together. This is special walnut and weathered oak mixed together. And then this one is weathered oak and aged Old American mixed together. So we are leaning towards this one, I think. So that will be the aged oak and Early American. Once the wood filler had cured, I am taking my round sander and sanding it first with the high grit sandpaper, and then I'm going to smooth everything out a little bit with a low grit paper. Now I am also taking the sander with the high grit paper and just creating some dents into the wood so it looks like it appears like it's old. Once I was done sanding, I'm taking some of this mineral spirits and some paper towel just to give it a good clean. You don't want any of the sanding particles to be left on this before you stain and apply a wood conditioner. I am actually starting with the wood conditioner, so whenever you are working with soft wood, they recommend conditioning it so that way you get an even application of stain, so you don't get discolorations in the stain. So I went ahead and actually went out and bought wood conditioner for this project just because I didn't want to take any chances. They do say that mineral spirits sometimes are enough and they will condition the wood enough, but I still wanted to just make sure that I don't have any bleed throughs. I did not use a wood conditioner on one of my other projects with the raw pine, and even though the project looked good and I don't mind the way all that different colors look, I didn't want that same look for this piece. While I waited for the wood conditioner to dry, so about half an hour or so, I went ahead and painted the 1x3 trim that I had purchased as well at Home Depot with the same black that I painted the fireplace. And now I took a measuring cup and I measured out equal amounts of the stain, just so that way in case if I didn't measure out enough, I know exactly how much to put of each. You can apply the stain with a foam brush and then wipe it off. I prefer just using a rag and applying it and then wiping it off. Once I covered the whole surface, I go ahead again and wipe everything down. I do repeat this process twice, waiting approximately 4 hours in between. I love the way the stain ended up looking on this piece, and all the little dents and scratches that I made just picked up a little bit of a darker color and turned out really nice, making it look really old and rustic. I used this similar stain combination on my oak table that I refinished a couple weeks ago, and the stain turned completely different. I still like it, but I love this one a little bit more. Now this is a couple days later, or 2 days to be exact. I am inside and I am using that same black paint to paint the middle of the wall. I actually had my husband use a large level to draw a line so I know where to paint, so I don't go past that line. I am using a large roller now to apply this paint, and then I'm going to do this in 2 coats. Again, the coverage was really nice and smooth, and didn't require 2 full coats, but it did require me to go over some areas a second time. And once, while I was waiting for the paint to dry, I went ahead and applied a sealer for the mantle. I did open the window because it was a little bit stinky, and I am using General Finishes water-based polyurethane, and I did 2 coats of this. So once everything was nice and dry, the mantle and the wall, we ended up using that 1x3 trim to create a frame around the painted surface. So the top part sits on the 2 sidebars, and we used a nailer to nail everything to the wall. I have to say, I am so very pleased with the way this turned out. It just looks so much better in the new space than the other one did. I loved my original fireplace that I've painted many years ago, but this one definitely, it needed to be updated to fit the new style, the new decor. I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. This was a very inexpensive upgrade makeover to do on the existing fireplace, and like I said, I love it, and I would love to know if you guys love it as much as I do. I also shared a little clip of what it looks like with the TV on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and a notification bell if you're not subscribed. And those of you returning, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.
It is Sonja from Domestic Diva DIY. In today's video, I'm bringing you another trash to treasure makeover. I got this little console table off of Facebook Marketplace for, as far as I can remember, because it's been a while, I paid $100 for it. I know it's a bit steep, and I think, but it was the perfect shape and the width, so I knew I had to have it. I'm going to be giving it a major upgrade today, so if you want to see this makeover, just keep watching. I'm going to be using this table as a console entryway table, but you can also use it as a sofa table, hallway table, in place of a sideboard. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I saw this table online and I really loved the way it looked, but the starting price for this table was like $700 and up for the same size. So I'm going to recreate the same wood look that this table had, and here are the supplies that I was using. I'm going to be using all Annie Sloan paints and waxes. I'm going to start with Old Ochre, and then I'm going to do a wash with graphite. I'm going to do 2 parts water, 1 part paint. Depending on how dark you want it, that's how much water you add. So the darker it is, less water you add. I'm also going to use dark wax, and I'm going to finish it off with clear wax. And here are all the different brushes that I'm going to be using to apply the paints and the waxes. So I'm going to start off by cleaning the piece. You want it to be free of any sticky stuff or any anything that can prevent the paint from sticking on it. I'm just using a wet cloth that I wetted with water because there weren't any sticky stuff on it, but if there were, I would probably wash it with either a degreasing soap or some sort of a degreasing type of cleaner. And then if you are using a soap and water or any other type of chemical or anything to take stuff off, you want to wash that off as well, so that way you don't have the residue from that on there.
Once I was finished cleaning it up, I did go ahead and remove the little handles, the little knobs. These weren't actual drawers. They just looked like drawers. So I just removed the knobs, and then I ended up filling them with some wood filler and sanding it down once it dry. So that way I did not want to I wasn't going to replace and add new knobs to it. I just wanted it to be knob free. And for sanding, I did use just a 300 grit sandpaper because I had it on hand. Really anything would work. Once everything was all nicely sanded, I did proceed to painting the whole piece with a solid coat of any Sloan Old Ochre. This is a very creamy white, I would say, like yellowish white paint, like looks like heavy cream. I would best describe it. And because this table was white, I did not need to apply 2 coats. If you were painting over, let's say, a mahogany table, I would recommend 2 coats of it. But because I was going over white, it did not require 2 coats. Once the old ochre had fully dried, now I'm going to make my wash. With graphite, I'm going to add some paint into just a plastic cup, and then I'm going to add about double the amount of water. So 2-to-1 ratio. And then I'm going to use my rounded brush to apply this wash. As you can see, it's quite runny, so you definitely want to have something underneath the table to protect your floor. And this is such a great technique to do because it kind of accents all the little nooks and crannies that the table has. The top didn't have as many, but the spindle legs and around the little drawers, there was lots of detailed, and this just made it look kind of accentuated it. I'm moving in the same direction, and then I'm going to be using a lint-free rag to wipe it off. And again, the more you apply, the more it's gonna show. You just want to make sure that you are wiping it off and waiting for it to dry completely between the coats. As you can see here, I didn't go overly heavy with graphite, but I did enough so it shows through and it kind of accents all those little cuts and grooves and all that stuff. Now I'm going to be adding a dark wax, Annie Sloan dark wax, and I'm using the dark wax brush by Annie Sloan as well. And I'm going to be working in sections, adding the wax on, and then wiping it off. And just an FYI, when you are working with an antiquing wax, you're not buffing the wax out. You're simply just taking back a layer of it so it's kind of blends in a little bit more. No heavy wiping, none of that. Just a very light wipe off. Applying this dark wax gave me exactly the look that I was going for. Now, because the table wasn't quite tall enough as I wanted to, I searched everywhere for feet, and then I finally found these. I think they were $3.50 at Home Depot, and I had my husband add them. He added a piece of wood and then first, and then he added the foot to it because he had to use a washer, and so he had to drill it inside of it and use a washer and a nut to attach the leg. So that's why he added the wood first. So I added 6 legs to it, and then I went ahead and sanded the pieces of wood just to smooth out the edges, and I am using an 80 grit sandpaper, and then I'm going to use the exact same technique to paint the feet as I did for the rest of the piece of furniture, where I go with ochre first, then with the wash, and then I went ahead with the wax. Here is the finished product. I think it turned out absolutely stunning. I just love the way it looks. I love the way it looks at my front entry, all nicely decorated. It gave it such a nice wood look that you would, really have to look hard to see that, that isn't an actual wood grain.
They try to be cool, not being givers, only takers. Stop for a minute, stop and breathe for a minute. Don't get over your head, try to listen instead, won't you?
So here are the 2 pieces I'm going to be working on. You might know that this one, I just recently made this over, but with the way the direction that my decor went, it no longer goes with it. So I'm going to do a little bit of a makeover on this piece, and then I'm also going to make over the lamp, the base of the lamp, just to go again more with the new style. And I'm doing it outside, so it's a little bit noisy, so I'll probably switch to voiceover, but I just wanted to go over with what I need for each project. So for this one, I am going to be using some paint stripper or stain stripper, some mineral spirits. Then I'm going to use Annie Sloan Athenian Black chalk paint, as well as a water-based top coat, high performance. You will need some gloves, some tape, a bag for taping over, scissors. I'm also going to use Annie Sloan Warm Gold Gilding Wax, something to scrape the stain off, which is I like using this, some, like I said, sanding stuff, a brush and gloves. I did that, and then some paper towel and a sponge brush to apply the sealant on top. So the first thing that I want to do for this piece is take the little knob off, a little handle off of the drawer, because I will be adding some gilding wax. And I just want to say my outfit today is on point. I have ruined so many pieces of clothing in this renovation that I am no longer allowing myself to wear anything decently looking for when I'm doing any type of painting, staining, or anything like that. So I'm literally wearing my grubbiest clothes I can possibly find. So like I said, don't mind the outfit. So once that is off, I took that garbage bag and I just cut it up so I can open it up, and then I taped it around the legs of this piece, that way just so I protect it when I'm using the paint stripper. So now that everything is taped up, it is time to add some gloves and spread the paint stripper all over the part of the furniture that I'm going to be stripping. So I'm using just a paper towel just to spread it around, and I'm going to let it sit for just a little bit. Now I'm not sure how at this time I wasn't sure how it was going to react, because I was doing it outside and it was warm. It wasn't overly hot, but it was warm. So I did end up adding a little bit more paint stripper after, just because this one dried a little too fast for me. To take the stain off, I did start using that scraper that I was showing you. Usually that works really well. However, for some reason, it wasn't really working that great on this piece of furniture. So once I got as much off as I could with the scraper, I moved on to my hand sander, my round hand sander, and I used that. Now I ran out of the lower, I think I had 80 grit paper, sandpaper. I ran out of that, so I was using my 300, which is not ideal for taking the stain off. So it took a little bit of strength and time to get this all sanded down. I just didn't want to stop the project and run to the store to get the proper sandpaper. So I would recommend that you use a lower number grit paper, something in a 60 to 80, to take the stain off, and then to smooth out the piece, you would want a higher grit paper, so like 320, 350. That's what I typically use. Like I said, here I was using the higher grit paper, and it did take a little bit more time than I would have liked to take this stain off. Once I sanded everything with my power sander, I ended up getting into little nooks and crannies with just a sandpaper, just because it was a little bit easier to do this by hand than with the tool. Once I was satisfied with the sanding, I put my gloves back on and used mineral spirits just to get all the dust and all the other particles that were on there off. This is a great way to clean your wood, and it does a little bit of conditioning of wood too as well. If you ever run out of, if you don't ever have a wood conditioner, a good wood conditioner is also equal amounts of mineral spirits and Warsaw, and that will condition your wood as well, if that's something that you're looking to do. I don't typically condition my wood, but maybe I should.
So while the top is drying from the mineral spirits, which didn't take long at all, I took the bag off and I am going to paint all the blue parts and some of the wood parts as well that I decided not to sand down with my Annie Sloan Athenian black chalk paint. And I only did one solid coat of that on here. Now, once the piece was painted, I proceeded to seal the top, and I'm using the General Finishes sealant. It is what I had on hand for all the sealing of the stairs that I did, and I used a brush to apply it. Now, for the stairs, I did 3 applications. Here, I just did 1. Depending on how much you're going to be using your piece, that's the more coats you apply, the better the seal is. I will just have the lamp on here, so it's not going to be used overly much. So I just did 1 coat. If you do more coats than 1, make sure that you sand in between with that high grit sandpaper. Now, the last thing that I did was I applied that gilding wax on top of that little handle for the little drawer, and I just used a dollar store brush to apply it. I did end up rubbing some of it off just to give it a bit of a rustic look. I do love how this piece turned out. I would love to know, if you watched my previous makeover of this piece, which one do you like better? I think this one will go with the new decor style that I'm going with much better, but I did love the blue and the dark wood as well. And don't forget to add wax to the bottom of your piece as well. Or you can also add that sealant that I added on top of the wood. You can add that on top of the chalk paint. That will just protect the whole piece for a lot longer. For this makeover, I'm going to be using a dark wax as well as a soft wax to finish everything off with, and then also the 2 brushes, the dark wax brush and a softer. It's just a really quick and easy, simple makeover to give it a new life and to go with the natural wood tones that I'm going currently in, well, that I'm going right now in my decor. These planes are really throwing me off here. Now this is much better without the plane noise in the background. We don't live too far from a very small airport, so I often have little planes flying around. So for this piece, I'm going to clean it up before I apply the wax. Now, typically I would have not went directly over the white chalk paint, but because this white chalk paint was painted over top of yellow, which gave it almost a creamy look, I was okay with just applying the wax. This was such a quick and easy makeover, and it gave the lamp a totally different look. So all I'm going to be doing here is applying a decent amount of wax all over the piece, working sections at a time, and then taking that paper towel and just wiping some of the wax back and until I achieve a desired look. Now I did wipe a lot of it off, but then I ended up adding a little just a light coat back on again, and this time I did not wipe that off at all, just left it on. It will dry. It is not like the protective wax that you have to kind of wipe off a little bit, because otherwise it'll be sticky. This will dry so it's not that sticky. Now for that little top piece where the light bulb goes in, I decided to paint it with that Athenian black just to give it a little bit of a better look than what it was, because I did not love the way that looked not painted. So I just love the way it turned out. I think it's going with that wood tone that I'm going to be using throughout my house really well.